Today we will crochet a classic, a wrist bag with a pattern of thousands of birds. The overall pattern is made by Tunisian crochet. Hollow cotton thread is used for wire rod. The crochet uses 5.5 mm Tunisian crochet. Like my video, please subscribe. Next, let's crochet together our bag. The main needle method used is Tunisian crochet. The wire is used in off-white and black. Because the black wire recorded video may not be clearly seen, so I use the blue line instead. Where I use blue in the video, you can use black thread. First, tie a loose knot on your finger. The crochet goes into the needle ring. I got 36 stitches here. You can adjust the needle according to your own situation. It should be noted that we need a multiple of 4 to start the needle. After the completion of 36 chain stitches, return to the penultimate stitch. Flip to the back. Pick a thread on the back, that is, its inner hill. From the second needle, insert the needle at 3 places in the back. Bring out a coil. Then in order, tune every needle to listen. Hook and weave 35 coils in sequence. After all coils are picked, turn chains with the first stitch. There should be 36 coils on the crochet. Then crochet and unwind. Crochet winding. The first needle pulls through a coil. Start with the second stitch. Pull 2 coils at a time. This completes the first line. Next, crochet the second line. Pick up the vertical thread in front of each needle. Bring out a coil. Then in order, hook out 35 coils in turn. This is the hooking method of the needle in the Tunisian crochet. At the last stitch, we pick up the 2 lines on the side. Crochet insertion. Bring out a line. Turn chains with the first stitch. There are 36 coils on the crochet. Next, crochet and unwind. The first needle pulls through a coil. Pull 2 coils at a time from the second stitch. Lower stitch from right to left. Line from left to right. Crochet 1 line of lower stitch and 1 line of back stitch. 2 rows are taken as 1 row of the total number of rows. When the last 2 stitches are left, we change the white thread hook to weave the 3rd line. 2 rows of crochet in each color. Line 3. Let's start the hook pattern. Let's start crocheting the first pattern. Hook and knit 1 lower stitch in the first stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the second stitch. Crochet a floating needle in the third stitch. Lift the coil directly. The fourth stitch. Crochet a double crochet hook method. First, crochet winding. Then penetrate inside the coil of the first row. Bring out a coil. Then hook the thread. Merge 2 white needles into 1 needle. This is a double crochet hook method, so we can complete a set of patterns. Each set of patterns is 4 stitches. 2 stitches, a floating needle and a double crochet. Next, crochet the second group. In the first stitch, crochet 1 lower needle. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the second stitch. In the third needle, crochet 1 floating needle. In the fourth needle, double crochet. Repeat crochet in this way later. When the first 8 patterns are crocheted, the last 3 stitches should be left. Because the first stitch is used as turning chains, so we only have 3 stitches left. Crochet 1 stitch in each of the last 3 stitches. Then crochet and unwind as usual. The first stitch goes back 1 stitch. 2 stitches are retreated each time. After line 3 is completed, we continue to weave the 4th line with the white thread hook. 2 rows of crochet for each color. Line 4 we are in each needle. Crochet a lower stitch. Next, the normal crochet withdrawal line. Push to the last 2 coils. Change the black thread to crochet the 5th line. Line 5 is also 4 stitches are one pattern, but the order of crochet needs to be changed. Start crocheting the first set of patterns. First stitch, crochet a floating stitch. The second stitch, crochet a double crochet. Third stitch, crochet a lower stitch. The fourth stitch, crochet a lower stitch. So the first group is finished. Then crochet the second group. In the first stitch, crochet 1 floating needle. In the second stitch, 1 double crochet. Crochet a lower stitch in the third stitch. Crochet a lower stitch in the fourth stitch. The 2 sets of patterns are completed. Next, follow the same method. Finish weaving this row of hooks. After the completion of 8 sets of patterns, the last 3 stitches are left. In the last 3 stitches, in the first stitch, crochet a floating needle. In the second stitch, crochet a double crochet. In the third stitch, crochet a lower stitch. Then crochet and unwind. After line 5 is finished, we start to crochet line 6. Line 6, normal crochet 1 stitch. Then crochet and unwind. When the last 2 coils are left, change the white line. Let's start to crochet line 7. What about lines 7 and 8? And our lines 3 and 4? The white part hook method is the same. Then what about lines 9 and 10? And our lines 5 and 6 in black? The hook method is the same. So we crochet black and white alternately. Hook and weave until line 26. Now we have completed line 26. If it is 2 rows of white and 2 rows of black, it is a group of patterns. How about this number? There will be 6 rows of patterns. Finally, we will crochet 2 black lines separately. Body part. 26 lines in total. Start with black. Black end. Next, let's crochet the handle. One side of the handle is woven into a short hook. The short side is 12 lines. The long side is 16 lines. Then start to crochet the handle on the right. Change the white line. First, in the first needle in, crochet a lower stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the second stitch. Crochet in the third stitch. 1 floating needle. Crochet winding. In the fourth stitch. 1 double crochet. So we can complete a set of patterns. Then crochet the second group. Crochet a single crochet in the first stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the second stitch. 1 floating needle in the third needle. 1 double crochet in the fourth stitch. Then continue to crochet 3 stitches. 1, 2. Let's count the turning chains. There are 12 coils on the crochet. Each belt covers 12 stitches. Next, crochet and unwind. The first stitch is pushed 1 coil at a time. Push 2 coils at a time from the second stitch. Then crochet the second line. Second line. We crochet 11 stitches. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 plus turning chains, there are 12 coils in total. Then crochet and unwind. When the last 2 coils are left, change the black line. Let's start to crochet the third line. Crochet a floating needle in the first stitch. In the second needle, crochet a double crochet. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the third stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the fourth stitch. Then repeat crochet. In the fifth needle, crochet 1 floating needle. In the sixth needle, 1 double crochet. Crochet a lower stitch in the seventh stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the eighth stitch. 1 floating needle in the ninth stitch. 1 double crochet in the 10th stitch. Crochet a lower stitch in the 11th stitch. Then crochet back to true. After the third line is finished, we start to crochet the fourth line. Line 4. It's crochet 11 stitches. Then crochet and unwind. The last 2 coils are left. Change the white thread to crochet the fifth line. The fifth and sixth lines repeat the hook method in line 12. 7, 8 lines repeat 34 lines. Crochet. A total of 16 lines of crocheted straps on the right. After the completion of 16 lines, let's start crochet. Thread into the first coil. Bring out a coil. Pull directly into the previous coil. This is a slip stitches. Then penetrate into the second coil. Take the line out. Pull directly into the previous coil. A total of 11 slip stitches are crocheted in order. Final crochet. A lock pin. Cut the thread and pull it out, so we can finish the bag belt on the right. Next, start to crochet the left bag strap. Count 1, 2, 3 from the first stitch on the left. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Make a mark on the 12th needle. Each of our bandages accounts for 12 stitches. Next, from the connection between the right bag belt and the bag body. Needle insertion. Bring line into. Then at the position of the bag mouth. Crochet slip stitches for needle retraction. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then penetrate the position of the mark buckle. Bring in white line. Crochet a lower stitch in the first stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the second stitch. Crochet 1 floating needle in the third stitch. In the fourth needle, 1 double crochet. In the fifth needle, crochet 1 lower needle. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the sixth stitch. 1 floating needle in the seventh stitch. 1 double crochet in the eighth stitch. Crochet a lower stitch in the ninth stitch. Crochet a lower stitch in the 10th stitch. Crochet a lower stitch in the 11th stitch. Now there are 12 coils on the crochet. Then crochet and unwind. After the first line is completed, we crochet the second line. The second line is crochet 11 stitches. Then crochet and unwind. Change the black wire when the last 2 coils are left. Crochet the third row. The first needle. Crochet a floating needle inside. In the second needle, crochet a double crochet. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the third stitch. Crochet in the fourth stitch. Crochet 1 floating needle in the fifth stitch. 1 double crochet in the sixth stitch. Crochet a lower stitch in the 7th stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the 8th stitch. In the 9th needle. Crochet 1 floating needle. 1 double crochet in the 10th stitch. Crochet a lower stitch in the 11th stitch. Next, crochet and unwind. The hook method at the back. The hook method is exactly the same as that of our right strap. It's just that we need to crochet 12 lines of left strap. Next, we have been crocheting 12 lines according to the law. After the completion of the 12 lines of the left band, let's start crochet line 13. Line 13. We are crochet a row of stitches. Each stitch is crocheted with a slip stitch. Then crochet a turning chain. We begin to surround the edge of the whole subject. Single crochet for binding. Start from this side. Then crochet the bottom side of the bag. Handle. Back to the starting position. Wrap according to this track. Let's start from this side. Each color represents 2 lines. Each row will have a needle. Here are the 2 black pinholes. 1 or 2. Then 2 white pinholes. 2 black pinholes. 2 white pinholes. 2 single crochets in each color. Let's mark the position of the first stitch. Select a single crochet from each stitch. Each color can select 2 single crochets. Now there are the last 2 rows of black. These 2 rows of black. Pick out here. Stitch. Pick out a stitch here. What about the back stitch? As the first stitch in our row. That's the first stitch in this row. As our inflection point. The first needle in the horizontal row. And the last needle. As our inflection point. Inside our inflection point. 3 single crochets are needed in the same stitch. Let's finish weaving the last 2 single crochets on the side. 12. And then came to the inflection point. In the same needle at the inflection point. 3 single crochets need to be woven. After the inflection point position is completed, we naturally turn to the bottom position of bottom edge. We choose the stitch to crochet single crochet. Crochet a single crochet in each stitch. Single crochet. Always crochet to the inflection point on the other side. We are now at the inflection point on the other side. In the last stitch in the horizontal row, 3 single crochets in the same stitch. After the inflection point position is completed, we started to crochet the side. The side is crochet a single crochet in each stitch. Pick out 1 stitch in each row. Pick 2 stitches for each color. Next, we keep weaving upwards. Add the first stitch of the handle row as our inflection point. 3 single crochets are needed in this stitch. In the last stitch of the same horizontal row, it is also a turning point for us. 3 single crochets are also needed for this stitch. Then go down and crochet. Crochet to this position. In the last white one position, crochet a single crochet. What if it feels unnatural to turn? What about the next stitch? We can do without hook. Directly in the horizontal. Slip stitches 1. 2. 3. 4. Slip stitches. Crochet to the other side. Then directly single crochet on the side. Crochet in each stitch. A single crochet. When the crochet reaches the inflection point, we are in the same eye at the inflection point. 3 single crochets. The last stitch serves as a turning point for us. 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Next, in the first needle, crochet a slip stitches connection. Crochet a turning chain. Cut the thread and pull it out. About 1 meter long segment is reserved here for sewing. The hook method of the front and rear parts are the same. The difference is the length of the 2 handhelds. We need to exchange positions. The front piece is crocheted on the right side in 16 rows. Left crochet 12 rows. The right side of the back piece is crocheted in 12 lines. Left crochet 16 rows. Next we crochet the position of the side. We have 12 stitches on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then return to the penultimate stitch. Pick Li Shan on the back. Hook out 11 coils. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After the completion of 11 coils, we crochet and unwind. Finish the first line and then crochet the second line. Line 2 is crochet 11 stitches. Then crochet and unwind. Change the white wire when the last 2 coils are left. Start crochet line 3. Line 3 starts hook pattern. In the first needle, crochet 1 lower stitch in the first stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the second stitch. Crochet 1 floating needle in the third stitch. 1 double crochet in the fourth stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the fifth stitch. The sixth stitch is crocheted. In the seventh stitch, crochet float stitch. Double crochet in the eighth stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the 9th stitch. Crochet 1 lower stitch in the 10th stitch. 1 lower stitch in the 11th stitch. Then crochet and unwind. After line 3 is completed, we crochet line 4. The fourth row, crochet 11 stitches. Then crochet and unwind. When the last 2 coils are left, change the black line. Crochet line 5. In line 5, we crochet a floating needle in the first stitch. Crochet a double crochet in the second stitch. The third stitch is crochet. Crochet a lower stitch in the fourth stitch. Crochet a floating needle in the fifth stitch. Crochet a double crochet in the sixth stitch. The seventh stitch is hooked. The eighth stitch is hooked. The ninth needle hook floating needle. The 10th stitch hook double crochet. The 11th stitch is hooked. Then crochet and unwind. After lap 5, we crochet lap 6. The 6th loop is to crochet 11 stitches. Then crochet and unwind. The next 2 colors are interlaced for crochet. Crochet all the way to 90 lines. After 90 lines, we start with black. Black end. How many lines of side crochet? We are based on our package. Needle removal. At the flush position of the bag mouth, place a mark buckle. Add the place flush with the position of the other side. Make a mark buckle. According to the situation, we can extend 1 to 2 stitches slightly upwards. Let's count the stitches between the 2 marks. I'm counting 90 stitches here. So I hooked 90 lines on the side. After 90 lines on the side are completed, we crochet a row of stitches. Then crochet a turning chain. The same as the body. We wrap around 4 edges. Crochet a single crochet in each side stitch. Place a mark buckle on the first stitch. Position of inflection point. 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Crochet a single crochet in the other stitches. According to this rule, we will crochet a single crochet binding. In the last stitch, as inflection point, 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Last and first needle. Hook as slip stitches for connection. Then crochet a turning chain. Cut the line. Thread end pulling out. Next, both ends of snap together. Use the sewing needle in the material bag to fix the main body, sewn together with the side piece. The way to sew it is to wear it first. The first needle of the main body. Pull out the line. Then penetrate the first needle of the side piece. Then go back to the first needle of the main body. Let's take a closer look at the position of the needle. Then penetrate the second needle of the main body. Pull out the line. Then pass through the second eyelet from the back of the side piece. Then penetrate the second needle of the main body. Next, sew this loop. This is how we stitched it up. It's sewn up like this. The side of the bag is very three-dimensional. Next, we sew the handle part. Put the two handles opposite. The next stitch corresponds to one stitch. Sewing by rolling needle. Next, use the sewing needle several more times on the side where the needle is not obvious. Hide the thread end. Thread the long handle into the short handle. This is a very practical bag.